You want me to walk down? It's my fish, my first fish for the season. It's a spider, he's not huge, but it's a pretty fish. Alright, so we try to kill him as fast as possible. Just take a billy club and whack it. Seems kind of inhumane, but it kills him quickly. Then when you get a knife and you bleed it. Alright, so we just killed it, and then what we do is we just cut its throat. You want to let all the blood drain out of it, and I just hang it like that for a few minutes. Until all the blood's out of there. Then we rip the gills out and put it in the water. Alright, so you can see its heart beating, and a tradition that we do in our family is we take the heart out. We take the heart out and we thank the fish. We tell them thank you for feeding our family, and then we throw the heart back in the river. So that's just a tradition we started, gosh, ever since, as long as I've been salmon fishing, just to thank the fish and that they've given their life and appreciate the journey that they've gone to get here. Alright, we don't have it on film, the fight, but I just got my second fish right over here. It was actually a really good fight, so I just bled it out. I let it bleed for a minute. The meat tastes better if you bleed it right away. And then we just put our fish on stringers and we let them sit in the water. As you can see the fish down there. And so we just let them sit in the water until we're ready to leave, and then that's when we gut them up their belly, clean out their innards, like intestines and stuff, and then put them in the cooler on ice and take them home. So I'm tagged out for the day. Now my goal is to help my little brother get a fish. Alright, so I'm tagged out, so now I'm just going to help my brother. So he just broke his line, so I'm just going to sit back here and rig up his lines and net any fish that anybody hooks on. I think he's annoyed by my videos. I think it's about 5 o'clock, so we started fishing at 5 o'clock, ended at 5 o'clock, and we took about a 2 or 3 hour break in the middle. So we fished for a good 9 hours for 2 fish, but we got them. That big compared to some of the other fish we've caught. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut them up their belly and take out their insides, so that way we can put them on ice and take them home for us to fillet them. So we're getting ready to leave, and then we got to process our fish. So what I'm going to do is bring my fish up here. You can see this is I'm 5'8", so it's a pretty decent sized fish. And woo! You don't want to drop it like I just did. And then what we do first is I like to cut out the first fin. And there's a lot of different ways to do this. So actually, first what I'm going to do is cut a hole from all the way up its belly. And you want to make sure that you're not cutting through the meat, that when you're putting the knife down, first you want to use a really sharp knife, and then you want to make sure that you can feel its sternum as you're cutting through, so that you're not slicing through the middle of the meat. I wouldn't say I'm an expert at this, but this is just how I do it. Then what I do is I like to cut off this top fin. And some people do this and some people don't, but so you cut that out and then you throw that in the river. And then you cut off their other fin. And the reason that we throw this back in the river is that this part of the fish isn't edible. And so if you throw it back in the river, then there's other things in the river that can, it's kind of like the circle of life that can use it. So we look, this is a male fish. You can tell a couple ways because of the hook on its jaw, but also there's no eggs inside, and the females have eggs. So we pull out all of its intestines. And again, we throw those back in the river. There's little fish that can eat this, or small. It just goes back into the earth. And then what I do is I just take my finger or a knife, and this is all the intestines. And you really want to make sure that you get all, can you see that you get all the black stuff out, because otherwise it can hamper how your meat tastes. One thing I want to talk about, you know, somebody asked me, is it hard for me to kill a salmon? And we're killing these, salmon die immediately after they spawn. So the Idaho Fish and Game put these salmon in the rivers for fishermen to catch. So they're going to die anyways. Probably in the next 10 days, these same exact salmon would have died. And so the Idaho Fish and Game just gave fishermen a chance to catch these fish. So you just want to, I'm not doing a very good job here in this video, but you just want to tear out this kind of lining, because that doesn't taste good when you cook it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the fish in water, and then I'm going to get the last of all that black stuff out. Oh, and I forgot also, we're going to cut the gills out. Gosh, how did I forget to show you that? It's one of the first things you do. So what I do, the fish are kind of slimy, so it's kind of hard to do it, but you just put your finger in there and you take your fillet knife, make sure it's sharp, and you cut right underneath the bridge of its nose. And then you also, some people just rip it out, but I'm not always strong enough, so I cut it. And then you just rip their gills out, and you throw, and again you throw those, I'm just throwing, you can't see it on the film here, but I'm just throwing these into the river. And the reason is because we don't eat those. There are little fish and animals that can eat those. So we want to return those to the river. Alright, so all the gills are out. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take the fish. I got what I could with my hands. And then I'm just going to take the fish and rinse it out in the river. You hold it by the tail. You hold it by the tail because you don't want to accidentally let go of your fish, obviously. Stuff them with ice and then bring them home, and then once we're home we'll fillet them and seal them airtight. We'll put them in have wild salmon for us to eat throughout the year.